Hi again, this is Eric Sachetta, life coach and founder of Eric Live the Movie Inc. Thank you for coming to our page and checking out our second of 8 videos in this series. Today our topic is beliefs, because what you believe determines what you will or won't do, the values that you have, the rules that you live by. So we're going to determine what is a belief, and related to that, what are your current beliefs. So that's the first section. Our second section is, what is a limiting belief, and do you have any of them? And then the third part of our section here is, how can we change a belief? So to start with beliefs, I actually looked up the definition of beliefs in the dictionary, and it says it's the psychological state in which an individual holds a proposition or premise to be true. Basically what that means is something that you hold a high degree of certainty that it's true. That's a belief. So the reason we're talking about beliefs is because they really do determine your filter of how you see the world. I'm actually going to use a particular movie that I just saw as the filter for this particular video. And the movie that I watched the other night with my fiance, it's a chick flick movie called The Backup Plan. And if it sounds like I'm getting excited about it, I know some of the guys probably watching this are like, dude, you're about to get way too excited about a chick flick. Let me explain. The reason I found the movie so fascinating is because this woman was about to have a baby on her own, which is something that can be done nowadays, and there's nothing wrong with that. It was just very interesting that was sort of the premise of the movie. Now, on the day that she actually became impregnated, she actually met this guy who ends up being the other main character in the story that she ends up falling in love with. So she says that she wants to have the baby because she wants to have a family. And if she hasn't found the right guy, that's okay. I still want to have a baby on my own. Now that's sort of the surface of someone's story. But if you dig deeper, you'll learn the real reasons why they're doing it. So as the movie goes along, she says she doesn't want to date anybody or whatever, but this guy is so charismatic and she ends up falling for him. But as they're dating and they start talking one night, she tells her boyfriend the story about how her mother passed away when she was at a young age, and her dad really couldn't deal with it, so he left right when the mother passed away. So she was raised by her grandmother, and she said, which was the most interesting statement in the whole movie, she said, as soon as my dad left, I knew that nothing lasts forever. Now let me ask you something. If the number one belief you hold in your life is that nothing lasts forever, what are you always looking for? What are you focused on? You're focused on, what is the end of this relationship with this person? When is this event going to end? When is this day going to end? When is everything going to end? So is that a focus on something that in the end is really positive? Now, of course, the character in this movie was played by Jennifer Lopez, and she seemed, happy or okay as a human being, but I think she was really fulfilled. And you find out that the reason she actually wanted the baby is because she felt that the people that are most important in her life left her too early, but a baby can't leave you. Obviously, the baby could unfortunately pass away, but for having a baby that's obviously much younger than you, barring some crazy thing happening, there's unconditional love you're going to give to this baby. No, what they're going to do wrong, you're not looking for the end to this. So she thought this was the way to really violate her belief and change it. But in reality, it didn't. In the near end of the movie, her boyfriend actually states something in the wrong way and is having a conversation with Jennifer Lopez and some other person, and he calls the babies, he says, her babies. Now, they're not his babies, like he isn't the father, but he's the father figure, and she wanted him to be that, and he misspoke and said that they were just her babies, and instantly she said, that's it, he was going to leave, I knew he was going to leave, but that was the first time in their entire time of dating that he ever said anything that would give an inkling of that he was leaving, and it was just by accident. It was just reactionary. So he says, what do I have to do to prove to you that I'm going to stay? And she says, you don't have to prove anything, I'm going to leave. And she leaves, and she holds on to her belief. So what is a limiting belief? A limiting belief is something that holds you back from something that you could do, could experience because of fear. Now, our tagline, of course, is live the movie. We want you to live the movie, and no matter what your life's been like so far, we want you to move forward and use the experiences and the challenges that you've had to live the best life you possibly can. So, having said that, you have to dig deep to not have the challenges in your life really hold you back. So, if I were to talk to someone and I were to say, you know, what's one of your fears? And someone says, you know, public speaking. Well, to ask them why they're afraid of public speaking, on the surface they could say, you know, I'm afraid of being judged, or I might get laughed at, or whatever. But if I just kept asking the question why, you would get to the same response every time when you're talking about someone's fear. It doesn't have to just be public speaking. So if I was talking to you and that's your fear, I would say, why are you afraid of public speaking? Oh, people might make fun of me, judge me. All right, well, if you're judged, what does that mean? Well, that means that I'm insecure. And if you're insecure, what does that mean? Well, then that means that I'm not really being my full self. What happens if you're not being your full self? Well, then I'm not really sure that I am living a meaningful life. And if you're not living a meaningful life, then what? Then I don't know if I'm worth it. And if you don't know that you're worth it, then what? Then I won't be loved, which is psychological death. So obviously that statement is pretty deep, and I know these are just some introductory videos to what we do here, but if we're really trying to live a movie, we got to see what holds us back and actually move forward. So limiting beliefs are all come back to those two primary fears of human beings. You can be afraid of all different things on the surface, but the two primary ones are that I'm not enough, and if I'm not enough, then I won't be loved. Now, you might know that if you went up and stood in front of people and they laughed at you, that you still are enough and you're going to be loved. But remember, your head and your nervous system are trained to help you survive. Human beings are mammals, they're animals, and your body is a survival mechanism. It's looking to survive. Now, on the flip side of that, your heart, and I believe your spirit, wants you to be fulfilled. And the problem is people spend so much time in their head and in their nervous system and not in their heart, then they rationalize why they don't do stuff instead of follow through and move past their fears. So what are some of your limiting beliefs? What are some of the things that you'd say, that probably is an excuse? And I've said it to myself for a really long time, but if I got down to it and I really kept asking myself that question, why and why, I would get to that answer of I'm not enough and I won't be loved. And if that's the answer to one of your beliefs, then it is a limiting belief, and it's holding you back from being your best self and living the movie. And if you're living the movie, that means you're contributing to people, other people, which is ultimately what we're going for. We're looking to grow, which is overcoming fears and moving forward, and contributing beyond yourself. That's the goal of life. So how can you change a belief? There's many ways to change a belief, but the other question people ask is, does it have to take a long time? And the answer is no. You could change a belief in a second. Now, I'm sure there's some beliefs you don't want to change, obviously. If you're someone who believes in a particular religion or God, or that, life's all about family. Like, those are things you never want to change. I'm talking about just limiting beliefs. The rest of your beliefs, they might be different than mine, but if they're serving people, go for it. That's awesome. So, how do you change belief? Well, I believe you have to do something, read something, experience something that violates the thing that you hold to be true, but then you have to quickly reinforce it, otherwise you'll go back to the belief that you had. Let me explain. So, a lot of you in here watching this video, I'm sure are probably over the age of 16, 17, and probably drive a car at this point. So, when you first learned to drive a car, like maybe the very first time you drove the car, intellectually you might have said, driving's not scary, or you might have said driving is scary. And then you drove, and you might have been nervous the whole time, but when you stopped you might have said, wow, nothing happened. Maybe it isn't that scary. So you drove once, and now you might have had an opportunity to change your belief. So what happens is a door opens, but you have to walk through it quickly. So if you are convinced at the end of the first time you drive that driving is not scary, what do you have to quickly do? You have to quickly drive a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time, and a fifth time, and a sixth time, until that you've conditioned that actually the new belief that you have is the one you're going to follow and not the one before. Because if you just do stuff every once in a while, you're going to go back to that. For example, I used to be petrified of public speaking when I was in school, but every time I finished a speech, which maybe I gave once a month, once every 2 months, as soon as I finished one, I sat down. It's like no one made fun of me. They thought it was okay. I don't know what grade I'm going to get, but it was okay. And I actually was almost excited to give a new one. But I didn't have another one scheduled for a couple months. And by the time I actually spoke again in front of people, my old pattern of being scared came back. So that's how you do it. So how did I get good at public speaking? I was working for a sales and marketing company. I got thrown up in front of people because I was excited about becoming a manager. And I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it till eventually I said, well, I actually enjoy doing this. And if I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, or in some capacity, might as well not be scared, because it's not really serving me, and my new conditioning sort of kicked in. So that is how you can actually change a belief. So I hope some of those tips really help you. To conclude our video here for week 2, if you're really enjoying these videos and you've checked out our website and you really enjoy the Live the Movie theme and want to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form, beyond just these videos, what you can do is you can like our Facebook page. If you search Eric Sachetta under community as a fan page, if you like our page, that would be great. At the same time, if you could share these videos on your Facebook page and spread the word about what we're doing. Remember, I'm the one that made the videos, but if you share it with someone, an audience of yours, you're the link between them hearing this, not me. So let me explain. When I was working for the sales and marketing company that I worked for before starting this life coaching practice, my manager gave me a speech because I had been going to all these personal development seminars, and I learned how to captivate an audience. And he gave me this speech, which was less about how to actually sell the products we were marketing and more about some of the stuff I'm teaching you on this video. And I got up in front of the crowd and I, framed some things in for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I got the crowd rocking. We were up, we were dancing, we were having a good time. And I finished the speech, and I was like, I could see that there was a great response from the 200 or 300 people that were listening to my speech. But I was thinking, I was like, it's all about impacting other people, but I'm wondering what type of response actually did I get. So a month later, I stopped working for the sales and marketing company, but just as a goodbye, I went to their regional conference in Connecticut. And I was just sort of, in the crowd. I didn't have my own office, as a group there. It was just me with a couple of my representatives there, but we didn't have our own team or stuff. I was kind of hanging out, enjoying the personal growth and just, being a participant. And this girl walks up to me with this huge smile on her face, and I'm thinking, oh, geez, am I supposed to know who this is? And she introduced herself, and she said, I just wanted to let you know that the speech you gave at the division meeting a couple weeks ago was the best speech that I've ever heard. And it connected with me so well, it grew my skills, and I crushed it the last 3 weeks. You can see I won a trophy up there, or I forget exactly which trophy she got, but I know she got recognized for being one of the top representatives for the event. And she said one particular story you told really connected with me, and I was just wondering when you're going to be speaking at this event. And I was so flattered that she actually thought so highly of my talk, but I said, unfortunately, I'm not on the agenda. And I didn't tell her that this was going to be my last event, but she said, because this regional event cost some money because it was an overnight event and they were bringing in speakers and stuff, that she said, wow, I actually decided to come and spend the money just to hear you speak again. And then it really hit me. I was like, oh, geez. I was like, unfortunately, I'm not speaking. I'm glad that my talk convinced you to come to this one. It's going to be great. The people who are speaking are awesome. It's still going to be totally worth the money, but I really appreciate that you made that much of a connection. And I had already told myself that I was going to start this life coaching practice, but that really kicked it into gear and made me believe even more that this was what I was meant to do. Because you know what I said? If there's 300 people there and everyone enjoys it and has fun, but one person, it makes that 2-degree turn, just a small difference between being excellent and being outstanding that actually has you break through in some area that you're trying to improve. It's totally worth it, even if it's only for one person. So if you could share this on your Facebook page, you know, people are going to enjoy it, but if it really connects with one person that I don't know or hasn't checked out our website yet, I believe it's totally worth it. And then the last thing is, we want to continue to give you content that can really help you. So if you go to our website again, ericlivethemovie.com, there will be a sign up on the front page, the very front page. You just drop us your name and your email address, and you will be emailed our Live the Movie newsletter. And it's the 7 questions you need to be asking yourself to design the movie of your life, the life that you were meant to live. So again, drop us your name and your email address on the website. We will send that to you right away. And there's some great content in there. So if you want to, on your own, start to build a movie and reframe the way you look at your life so that you can move forward and impact people. So thanks again for watching. Like I said, live the movie, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.